If you've weighed your options and chosen to work overseas, you'll have a lot of paperwork to get ready: passport, visa, bank card, health check, and much more. It's easy to overlook one thing or another, and some of them can be tricky. Here we'll show you the 10 steps to make your journey go as smoothly and safely as possible. First, you'll need a passport. Apply online at the passport website. If you don't have a computer, use one at a UDC, Union Digital Center, found in many towns. Fill it out yourself if you can, to make sure it's accurate. If you can't read, someone at UDC can help you. If you plan ahead, apply for regular processing time. It's 3,450 taka, and you get your passport in a month. But if you need it faster, 10 to 12 days, apply for expedited processing. That's double the price. You can pay the fees on the website or at the bank. To work abroad, you need to register your name with BMET, online or at their office. Before you go abroad through an agency, make sure it's a licensed agency. The law says that only licensed agencies can send workers abroad. A licensed agent must give you receipts. An unlicensed agent might not. And an unlicensed agent might charge you for services you don't receive. They have no license to lose. So check with BMET to see if the agency has a valid license. Don't pay for anything without getting a receipt. That's the proof you paid the money, and therefore you must get the service you paid for. And if you ask your employer to reimburse any fees, you'll need to show them receipts. Keep them somewhere safe and leave copies with family. Take photos and store them online. Watch the video on financial costs to understand visas and the expected costs. Your contract defines the terms of work, so read it carefully. You have a right to get your employment contract in your language before you leave Bangladesh. Look for the answers to these 4 questions. Who will you work for? What work will you do? How long will you work? And how much will you get paid? First, who will you work for? Your employer's name should be on the contract, not just the local agency's name. The employer's address should be in your destination country. If your employer isn't on the contract, you might have to sign a new contract when you arrive. The new contract could have worse terms, like lower pay or extra fees for housing. Next, what work will you do? The contract needs to provide a job description. The more detailed the job description, the more likely you will be to access help in case you end up being asked to work in a different job or position once you arrive. Then, how long will you be working? Check in your contract for the days per week, normally 6, and hours per day. Normally that's 8 or 9 hours per day. Any working hours after that have to be paid at a higher overtime rate. Make sure the overtime rate is in line with local law in your destination country. And you have a right to refuse overtime without any penalty from your employer. Your contract must say how much you'll earn. That's your regular and overtime wages minus any deductions. If you aren't sure about your contract, ask someone for help, like someone who migrated before. You can check if the contract is valid and fair at the Employment Bureau or the embassy of the country you plan to work in. To get a visa, you need a medical certificate. To get it, get a health check from a registered doctor. Workers with certain conditions are, sadly, not granted visas for work in the Middle East. Some workers have used fake medical certificates to get the visa, but when they went overseas, they were retested, found positive, and sent back home. That's why you need the genuine medical certificate. When you get your visa from the agent, check that all the information is correct. Then check that the visa is genuine by going to the Employment Bureau or the embassy of your destination country. To migrate, you need a smart card signed by BMET, the Employment Bureau. You'll need the card to open a bank account and get through airport immigration. Your smart card has your information about your passport, fingerprint, and employer. Use your smart card to apply for a bank account or a loan at the Prabashi Kolyan Bank. To get paid at your new job and to send money home, you need a bank account. Open an account in your own name. Your employer should pay you through this bank account. Only you should be able to access this account. To send money home, use only bank transfers. Don't use hundi. It's a punishable offense. Instead, open a second bank account, a joint account with you and a trusted family member. To send money home, just move the money you want to send into the joint account. So you have two separate bank accounts, one for your wages and one for sending money. That way you avoid situations where some uncle mismanages all your savings. This video explains the 10 key steps, but there is a lot more that you should know before migrating for work. The Employment Bureau gives briefings for migrant workers with detailed guidance that will make your journey easier, so it's important to attend this briefing. If you run into trouble overseas and need help, you'll need to show your documents, like passport, visa, receipts, and bank information. That's why you need backup copies. Keep physical copies of your documents with you, plus the originals, and give copies to family. Do not allow your employer or recruitment agency to keep your original documents, even if they demand it. You can also take pictures to store online, including the SafeStep app. Going to work overseas is not without risks. But by knowing your rights and being prepared, you can make your journey easier, more profitable, and safer.